What's up, YouTube? Brothers on the Grid, back at it again. We are so excited for this up-and-coming season and to talk about all things Formula One. But first, we're going to be talking about the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Brothers on the grid together, we ride in the world of Formula side by side.
Dude, what a race that was. I feel like it was a great way to start off the new season. I mean,
Right?
sure, Red Bull kind of went crazy, but outside of that, really good racing. Um, yeah, I honestly surprised we didn't see any safety cars that whole time. Um,
I know, that's just kind of showing like how good the cars are getting. Is like there were no safety cars.
yeah, and also more veteran racing group. Like there was no new people to F1 this season. So really adds to the quality of the racing that I think we'll be seeing for the rest of the season.
Here's the real can you predict the future is will we end up before the end of the season having a rookie driver on the grid?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think we will. I think I think they're all going to stick it out, but you never know.
I actually kind of agree. I think with all of like the predicted changes that are up and coming, I think that they're not like wanting to make any moves too early. But anyways, that was just like a random little side bit. Um
Calling it now, won't
I
see any rookie drivers the rest of the season.
actually think that we might, but we can get into that until a later video.
Okay.
Um I yeah, I mean I thought that this was like a really good race. I think that there was a lot of like things that were predictable, as in Red Bull was gonna be really good. A lot of things that were
Yeah.
unpredictable, as in how bad Alpine was, how many like bad wrong things went wrong with Mercedes,
Oh yeah.
how many things
They're
went wrong with
struggling.
Leclerc. Like there was a lot of just like frustrating things, but kind of made it fun to watch.
Yeah. It was really you see the kinks as they're trying to work him out, especially like going from the end of the season when the cars are pretty much like how they are, they've worked out anything wrong with them, like they're just running really well to all of a sudden start of new season, everything's breaking all at once, like trying to figure out how these cars work again.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna share. Can you see this?
yep.
Um, Sharing my screen right now. You can see the results of the race. Um, So I think, as we already mentioned, very predictable. Red Bull 1-2, and then a Ferrari 3-4.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you some questions about that here in a second. Then it went Mercedes, McLaren, Mercedes, McLaren. So they were just like super close race between the two.
Hmm.
And the Aston Martins rounding out the scores. And I thought it was really interesting about essentially all of the cars were like right by each other, which showed it came more down to the cars than it did the actual drivers themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, like each team, the drivers are right by each other. That
Yeah,
is interesting to see. It's also interesting to note that Max lapped 10 of the drivers. You
right.
look up to 11, all only did 56 laps of the 57 because, yeah, they just had got lapped by Max.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and poor Logan Sargent
Dude,
getting double lapped.
like I like kind of feel bad for him of like, he's just trying so hard. He's just trying.
Yep. Was he the one that ended up like off the course and they thought they were gonna have to get a safety car out, but then he was able to, yeah. He stuck with it though. He never threw in the towel.
He did.
He, yeah.
It's just like I think that Williams would be a super easy team to cheer for if they were doing really well. Like anybody, no matter which team was their favorite, you could cheer for them.
Oh yeah. Oh Oh yeah.
But because they're just like doing so poorly, like you can't like you just hope they have an okay race. Like that's all I'm hoping every single time right now.
Yeah. Oh man.
Can we talk about next the Alpines starting at the bottom? So Esteban Ocon went 17th, and then Pierre Gasly went 18th. They like did so poorly, and there was like so many talks, like even when they were revealing their car, they were like, "Hey, we're not going to be very good this season, at least at the beginning." And it's like,
Mhm.
thanks for the vote of confidence in the team and the car. Like, I don't know, I thought that was really weird.
Yeah, kind of setting yourself up for failure. Like,
At least they're like setting expectations. They're like, hey, we're gonna be really bad, and they were really bad. Like they set them.
yeah.
um, I want to hear your thoughts on Ferrari, and then I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on Mercedes.
My thoughts on Ferrari.
Yeah.
I was proud of those boys. I felt bad for Leclerc, getting double passed by Carlos Sainz, but Carlos raced really well. Um, and I thought they both did really good, like just defending and um just overall racing. I'm really looking forward to this season, seeing what they can do with the car that they have, because I think it's going to be a good car and a good season for them.
Did you hear what they were talking about after the race about why Leclerc's like setup was incorrect?
I didn't hear exactly what was wrong with his setup, just that he had a different setup and was having problems with it.
Yeah, I was looking into this a little bit more, and it sounded like that he was having there was like brake issues as well as balance issues. Probably the
Mm,
balance issues causing like the braking issues. And so the balance set apparently like there was really bad like heating between like his front and back tires, and it's something they couldn't correct
oh,
right away. But even like left and right, like his tires were heating at different temperatures because of his balance setup. And so that's why um Carlos Sainz was like so much better in the race was because of those balance setups that were just blatantly wrong on his car. And so I think that this didn't show the difference between the two of them. It showed that Carlos Sainz is a really good racer, and it shows that Leclerc is a really good racer even on a bad setup, still managing to take fourth. So it was
yeah.
impressive.
That's way impressive.
Yeah. My thoughts on Mercedes. Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So they were having really bad engine problems where their car was essentially overheating. I heard the analogy of essentially it was like when you put your son or your phone out on the heat for a long time and it just like heats it up and makes it so it doesn't really work very well. And a lot of times it won't work and it'll say like you need to cool down your phone.
Yeah.
Apparently what was happening with the Mercedes car. So they essentially like were losing a lot of pace primarily because of the engine.
Uh,
And rumor has it that they were losing somewhere between 4/10 to 7/10 per lap simply because of their engine. And if you like added that back on, they would be doing really well, which I think
yeah.
is one, super promising, and two, as a Mercedes hype man, I think it's super promising. But then also at the same time, it's like, why did you have these problems? Like, it's not super promising if you're gonna just keep on having problem after problem.
With
This
your
is something you
car.
should have known before you went into the race. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a good thing and a bad thing.
I mean, they had the test days and all the practices beforehand and stuff. It's like you couldn't have figured this out. So were they just like not getting enough airflow into the engine? Is that what was causing it to
It doesn't
overheat
sound
or
like it was necessarily the airflow. It sounds like
gotcha?
you can choose like essentially how aggressive you are on your engine setup. And they
Mm,
were really aggressive because they thought that the car could handle it in the situation. And apparently that was not the right call.
gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So if they would have went like a medium like aggression, then they probably would have been a lot better off.
Cool. Good to know.
So there's still high hopes, but it's still really frustrating as a Mercedes fan. I'm like, come on. George
Yeah.
Russell starting out in third. I was like, he can fend off these Mercedes, potentially even like take second because like the Ferraris are holding off like the Red Bull, and then he's holding off the Red Bull. Like I had high hopes, and then it all kind of came crashing down. I thought that their in race strategy was really good. Of like they even got back in front of the Ferraris after like the pit stops, but
Yeah.
just wasn't enough.
Yeah. And then also their batteries, like not seeing that their batteries were about to die until they were like pretty much dead. That doesn't help,
Who's in charge of this?
right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I think that there's really good takeaways from every team. One, I think Red Bull's gonna be really good. Two, I think that Ferrari and Mercedes and possibly even McLaren, we didn't touch too much on them. They did well.
Yeah.
I think that all of them are gonna be fighting for second, third. And if anything ever goes wrong with the Red Bulls, that they will be taking first because it is, I think, closer than this race showed.
Yeah.
Even though it's still not very close. Like, there's no question who's going to be winning, but I think there could be some races that could be interesting for the fight for first
Yeah.
this year.
I definitely think so.
Cool. Any other thoughts on Bahrain? Bahrain?
Bahrain. No, that's pretty much my thoughts. Just excited to be back in the racing season.
Yeah, dude. It's such a good time to be alive. Welcome to Formula One.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Just some other quick food for thoughts before we leave this. Heard some rumors of Max Verstappen not being super happy at Red Bull. Maybe there could be a switch there. They're all just rumors. Um, maybe Carlos Sainz moving over to Mercedes. Maybe if Max Verstappen isn't happy at Red Bull, potentially someone could be moving into his seat, like Alonso. Like, I don't know. There's like a lot of like pretty fun things going on. So
Yeah. Always drama
funnier.
on the grid.
Gotta love the drama.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was great talking about Bahrain. I hope you are looking forward to this next race coming up in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
It's gonna be a good one.
Going into the heat.
Yeah. Look forward to our video on that coming up. We'll be talking about what our predictions are, and then also our thoughts on just like the entire Saudi Arabia Grand Prix itself.
Yeah. Look forward to seeing you guys. Have a good one.
So
What's up, bro?